Joe Millward, a lieutenant at Engine 62, was on the job as usual, chopping down buildings and screaming his head off. But this was no usual job. See, he was working on a large bedroom fire and was trying to make his way through a dining room when he stumbled across a black silhouette. Now, the silhouette didn't look like a person nor a dog, so he tried to ignore it. But his gut feeling told him that he needed to save this, whatever it was. He took a second glance down and noticed it was a dog, so he rescued the dog and took it outside. See, he performed CPR on this dog, even though it was against the city code. And later found out that this dog was a canine that was retired from the Philadelphia Police Department. Now, this might seem small, but this is actually a huge thing. It made national attention. And this story is just one of the many my dad has of his brave acts in the fire department. My father, Joe Millward, has many characteristics that sets him apart from almost everybody else. But his bravery is the number one thing, and has gotten him through the Navy, almost 30 years in the fire department, and waking me up every morning for school. Now, there's an article about my father in the Philadelphia Inquirer that talks about his transition from the Navy into the fire department, and I think this is one of the most important stories to know about my father, because it really shows the bravery he has. Now, my father has flown over almost every sea, seen almost every continent, and raised almost 4 kids along the way. His bravery is immense, and it shows through everybody he's been around. In 1979, my dad went straight from high school into the Navy, doing the 2 things he loved the most: spying on Russians with nuclear-armed submarines, and looking at pretty things all across the globe. One of these things is not like the other. A few years after that, he got a little bit tired of it and decided to do something else for the Navy. He taught classes. You'd think it'd be naval history or how to fly a P-3 with a bunch of other people. But no, he taught something completely different, the SEER class. The SEER class was basically how to survive being tortured by enemies, and how to survive in almost any situation. Now, a few years after that as well, in 1985, my dad decided to change things up a little bit. He took the fire exam and passed. And a few months after that, he became a paramedic in the Philadelphia Fire Department. 4 years after that, he got this call for a lady who had stopped breathing during ballroom dancing. And he and his partner Vince had went there and started working on her for an hour and a half. Things were looking bleak though, and once they got in the ambulance and took her off, they thought she wasn't going to make it. When they got to the hospital though, they had heard great news. Thanks to them, the hospital was able to revitalize her and give her a pacemaker so it wouldn't happen again. My father had saved another lady from a terrible fate due to his bravery and his acts of courage. He actually got to meet this lady, and you can actually read about this as well. In the end, my father has fought the biggest flames, flown over the most dangerous missions, and raised 4 kids throughout his life. His bravery is immense, and it shows throughout his entire life and the life of my family. I really think you should meet my father, Joe Millward, and I'm glad that he's my father.